The man picked up the butcher knife, and in just a few swift moves, he neatly sliced the pork, unaware that this action would soon change his fate, because everything had been seen by the young heiress behind him. Though he was just a street vendor selling pork, his knife skills were unbelievably precise. In truth, he was a top-tier agent and hidden culinary master, who had been sidelined by his organization, and spent 5 years selling pork in obscurity. That day, the heiress noticed his remarkable talent, and immediately brought him back to her family's restaurant. But when the professional chefs heard that a pork seller had come to apply, they were instantly outraged. One of them shouted that comparing a butcher to them was an insult to their profession. The heiress quickly tried to calm them, insisting that the kitchen recruitment had always been fair and impartial, while the crowd kept voicing doubts. Someone suggested he show off his knife skills on the spot. If he could really prove himself, they'd willingly withdraw from the interview. The man stepped forward without hesitation. Just as he was about to demonstrate, the manager rushed in with urgent news. All the kitchen staff had walked out, and no one was left to help the head chef prep the food, while the president of the Culinary Association and VIP guests from the International Food Guild were still waiting in the front hall. The chefs panicked, afraid that poor service would ruin their reputations. So one by one, they declined and left. A server anxiously asked the heiress what to do, but the man calmly said, as long as he was here, there was nothing to fear. The heiress immediately led him into the kitchen. He quickly introduced himself as just a pork seller. The boss frowned, thinking the heiress was being reckless, and urged the man to leave immediately. But the heiress insisted he had outstanding knife skills, and begged her father to give him a chance. The head chef mocked them both, claiming their restaurant had high standards. Not just anyone could walk in. The man declared he had trained professionally, and promised to meet all of the restaurant's demands. The manager came in again, urging them to start cooking. With no better option, the boss reluctantly agreed to test him, by asking him to fillet a fish. Without a word, the man took out his butcher knife. The head chef scoffed, calling him a troublemaker. But the man calmly put down the knife, gathered his inner energy, then struck the counter with his palm. The fish flew into the air, and with a single stroke, he cleanly separated the meat from the bone. The head chef sneered and said that wasn't real knife work, and told him to go back to selling meat. But the boss immediately noticed that the fish's bones had been completely and cleanly removed. He realized at once, this man was no ordinary cook, so he allowed him to stay. Yet the head chef was still unconvinced, and decided to make things difficult. He told the man to cut congealed pig's blood into perfect cubes, or it would ruin the texture. The man stayed calm, and even warned the chef that battlefield veterans wouldn't enjoy such ingredients. But the chef didn't believe him, and urged him to hurry up. Before he even finished talking, the man had already cut the blood into flawless pieces. The head chef took one look, and knew he couldn't match him, but he still wouldn't admit defeat, so he threw out another challenge, asking him to slice chili peppers, without ruining their appearance. But before he could finish speaking, the peppers were already sliced. The man asked if there was anything else to cut. Impressed, the boss told him to cook a dish. The man confidently accepted, while the rest were busy cooking. He stood at the stove, lost in thought. The head chef mocked him again, saying it was normal for a butcher not to know how to cook. The boss began to doubt whether he had made a mistake. The heiress comforted the man, telling him he could learn slowly. Just then, inspiration struck him. He quickly asked the heiress to help gather ingredients. Meanwhile, the head chef finished his dish first, and rushed it to the VIP guests. But as soon as the guests saw a table full of organ meats, one of them vomited on the spot. The heiress remembered the man's earlier warning. The president of the Food Guild became furious, scolding them for serving offal to a guest who had PTSD from war. The guest angrily asked the president if this was the gourmet food he had been promised, and why the large intestines still smelled like feces. The president took a bite, and vomited immediately. He demanded an explanation from the boss. The head chef hurried to explain that offal was the restaurant's specialty. The president snapped, asking if they were trying to feed them excrement. The boss apologized over and over, explaining he had been told the guest loved organ dishes. The president shouted. He had already told the neighboring restaurant owner about the guest's condition. Was he supposed to have gotten it wrong? Only then did the boss realize he had been set up by the rival restaurant. At that moment, the rival owner appeared, claiming he had warned them about the guest's condition. The boss accused him of spreading false information, trying to sabotage their restaurant, but the rival shamelessly claimed he had hearing problems and couldn't help it. Then he invited the guests to dine at his own place. As everyone began to rise to leave, the man walked in steadily with a single dish. The guest took one gentle sniff, and his eyes immediately changed.